So it looks like we're taking a deep dive into learning Swedish this time. And not just any Swedish, but a program, what is it called? Swedika?
Swedika, yeah.
Swedika, right. And it's specifically, it seems, for Arabic speakers learning Swedish.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so you've provided some materials on this.
Right.
I'm curious, what made you interested in this specific program?
Well, I think, it's interesting, right? It really speaks to this, I think, growing trend in language learning where people are realizing that, materials that are tailored to your specific language background, your cultural background, are really beneficial for learners.
I can see how that would make sense, right? Instead of it feeling like you're trying to like decipher a code, it's more like building a bridge, between what you already know and this new language.
Yeah.
So I see the appeal in that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And your materials actually highlight that, Bridging that gap is really key. And they emphasize, Swedika emphasizes simplicity, fun, accessibility. They want to make it, as easy and enjoyable as possible to learn Swedish.
Yeah, I'm seeing that phrase a lot
Yeah.
in the materials you've provided, and it does seem like they're really trying to combat that fear factor, I think, that some people have with language learning, where it feels like
Absolutely.
it's this big insurmountable thing, and I like that they're really focusing on that positive emotional experience.
Yeah, there's research behind that too. It's not just, a nice idea. When we enjoy what we're doing, when it's fun, when we're engaged, we learn better, we retain information better, we're more likely to stick with it.
Right. It's like anything, right? If it feels like a chore, you're gonna put it off.
Exactly.
You're not gonna want to do it.
Yeah.
But if it feels fun and rewarding, then you're more likely to make it a habit, make it part of your routine.
Yeah.
And it seems like Swedika is big on self-study and continuous learning, from what I'm gathering.
Yeah, they mention interactive explanations, a method that encourages continuity and self-study.
Yeah.
And, the lessons are designed to be accessible anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
So they really are putting a lot of emphasis on empowering the learner to kind of take charge of their own journey.
Which is, I think, huge because, everybody learns differently.
So, yeah.
Some people like textbooks, some people like podcasts, some people need a classroom setting.
Right.
I think having resources that actually click with your own learning style and your own pace
For sure.
can make all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It does require a good deal of self-motivation, though, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and there's this thing you highlighted called shining teacher moments. So it seems like it's not all just, self-study. There's some personalized guidance and interaction baked in as well.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah,
And that personalized touch, that can be really powerful when you're learning a language.
for sure.
To have a teacher who can actually tailor the lessons to your interests, your goals, instead of just a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah, because I'm seeing here, they're giving examples of, a student who wants to work in healthcare, and so the teacher will actually work in medical terms into their lessons.
Wow.
And then another example, a student loves cooking.
Okay.
So they get a crash course in Swedish culinary vocabulary.
That's brilliant.
Right.
Because you're connecting it to what they already know, what they're interested in.
Right, exactly.
And suddenly it's it's not just vocabulary in a vacuum,
Right.
They're seeing how they can actually use this language in their lives.
Yeah, it's like instead of just learning the word for apple from a flashcard,
Right.
you're learning how to order an apple pie in a cafe in Stockholm or something.
Exactly.
Or how to bake one, using a traditional Swedish recipe or who knows.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
And those real world applications are so important because it's proven that we learn and retain information better when we can connect it to something meaningful, to a real experience, to context.
Absolutely, yeah.
Big difference between just passively absorbing information and actually using it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of real world application, this shining teacher moments thing also mentions these cultural exchange initiatives.
Oh, wow.
They actually have these sessions where you can connect with native Swedish speakers.
That's fantastic because, that's taking it a step further.
Right.
Because you can't separate language from culture. They're so intertwined.
Right. So, if you're learning about Swedish customs and traditions, that just adds a whole other layer, right?
Totally. And I imagine actually conversing with a native speaker does wonders for your confidence and your fluency because you can only get so far with like a textbook.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And even like language learning apps.
Totally. I mean, there's no substitute for that, like back and forth.
Yeah.
The natural flow, the nuances of real conversation, the slang, the colloquialisms, all the stuff that you won't find in a textbook.
For sure. You know, it's funny. It's one thing to talk about the program itself, but you've also dug up some stuff about like the person behind it all.
Right.
The creator of Swedika.
Yeah. And it's really interesting stuff, too.
Yeah. Well, lay it on me.
Okay. So it turns out they're from a multicultural background themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And they actually grew up speaking Swedish as a second language.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they've been super involved in cultural exchange programs.
It makes you wonder if that's like, you know, if those experiences are part of what like fueled their passion for this, for language teaching and this whole approach.
Absolutely. It's like they took their own personal journey, right? And created this like roadmap for others to follow.
Yeah. Yeah. And what a roadmap, right? Thinking about everything we've talked about,
I know.
The tailored lessons, the cultural immersion. I mean, it's clear that Swedika is more than just like a language program.
It really is.
It's really about like building these bridges between languages and culture.
Absolutely. Connecting with people.
It really is fascinating stuff. And I you know, it makes me think, how much do our own backgrounds and experiences end up shaping how we approach language learning, language teaching?
I think, that's something to ponder, right?
Yeah.
As you kind of embark on the Swedish journey yourself.
For sure. Yeah. That's something to think about. And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire some of our listeners to kind of like think about those connections in their own lives as well. So
I love that.
That's it for this deep dive.
That's been fun.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. We'll do it again soon.
Looking forward to it.